And Narad. So this is the Supreme Lord speaking and giving encouragement to young Narad Muni. So we saw the 24th verse. So where the Supreme Lord is saying, intelligence engaged in my devotion cannot be thwarted at any time, even at the time of creation as well as the time of annihilation. Your remembrance will continue by my mercy. So this is the benediction. Further, etāvad uktvā upararāma tat mahad bhūtaṁ nabho-liṅgam aliṅgam īśvaram ahaṁ cha tasmai mahīyase śīrṣṇāvanāmaṁ vidadhe anukampitaḥ. Then the supreme authority, personified by sound and unseen by eyes, but most wonderful, stopped speaking. Feeling a sense of gratitude, I offered my obeisances unto him, bowing my head. So this is the conversation between Narad Muni and Vyasadeva. So Narad Muni is revealing how he passed through various stages of life and how he came to the stage of being the incarnation of Bhakti Shakti. So when the Supreme Lord had given his instruction, he stopped speaking, and Narad Muni felt gratitude in his heart. That the personality of Godhead was not seen but only heard does not make any difference. The personality of Godhead produced the four Vedas by his breathing, and he is seen and realized through the transcendental sound of the Vedas. So we see also in the case of Brahmaji, when Brahmaji along with all the demigods, they assemble, they approach the Supreme Lord. The Supreme Lord does not become visible. He only speaks. And there is only one person who hears what the Supreme Lord speaks, that is Lord Brahma. Demigods cannot hear. And Brahmaji gives the message of what the Supreme Lord is. And here it is said that there is no difference between the Lord in his sound and in his form. Similarly, the Bhagavad Gita is the sound representation of the Lord, and there is no difference in identity. The conclusion is that the Lord can be seen and heard by persistent chanting of the transcendental sound. So if one wants to have audience of the Lord, what is the sequence? How he can progress? How he can come to the position of having one-to-one darshan of the Lord? What is the sequence? So many times we have discussed. Dayashil, in your camera it is coming Pradeep, and in Pradeep it is coming Dayashil. Why so? So confusing. Your name is Manoram, can you see?
Yes,
Prabhuji, we are trying to change, but you could not able to change.
Okay, anyway, what is the progression to be able to have the audience of the Lord? How it begins? How the progression begins? This is what Srila Prabhupada is speaking in this last statement of his purport. That one has to first concentrate on the sound. The conclusion is that the Lord can be seen and heard by persistent chanting of the transcendental sound. You must be knowing this. You must have heard it many, many times. What is the way to progress to be able to see, to have the audience of the Lord? What is the chronology or sequence or progression? You know, Manoram?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Starts with having faith, little faith about.
Not asking about that. Okay, Ramya, you answer.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी श्रवण कीर्तन पाद सेवन
So that are the
9
nine
devotions.
limbs. That is the
9
nine.
names.
That are the 9 limbs. And now vidha bhakti. I'm talking about how to have the audience of the Lord. How to be able to see him face to face. Yes, Pranav?
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी शबुन्मुखे जिब्बादो स्वयमेव स्फुरति यदा
Huh?
शबुन्मुखे जिब्बादो
That
स्वयमेव
is
स्फुरति
what is
यदा
the progression, how it begins. Prabhupada is writing something very strongly here in the purport. And unless and until it is Nam. Unless and until one has perfected the chanting of the transcendental names, the Rupam will never be visible. Nam, Roop, Gun, Leela. Then his Dham, and then the Parikars. The first step is to perfect chanting. This is what Srila Prabhupada is writing here in this purport. The conclusion is that the Lord can be seen and heard by persistent chanting of the transcendental sound. If one is not sufficiently tuned and trained in chanting of the transcendental sound, neither he can hear nor he can see the Supreme Lord. Not possible. Very beautiful verse. Namani anantasya hata tripa pathan guyani bhadrani kritani chasmaran gam paryatam tushta manogata spriha kalam pratikshan vimado vimatsara. Thus I began chanting the holy name. This is what Narad Muni did first. How he began? How the beginning is? By chanting the holy name. And fame of the Lord by repeated recitation. That is Kirtan. First is Shravan. And what is there when the Shravan? Is to hear the holy name. And to hear the holy name, one has to first chant the holy name. So chanting the holy name and repeated the glories of the Supreme Lord, ignoring all formalities of the material world. This is very important. One who is very much into formalities of this material world, he cannot take up to this process of chanting the holy name or the repeated recitation of the Lord. Then most important, such chanting and remembering of the transcendental pastime of the Lord are all benedictory. So I traveled all over the earth, fully satisfied without being proud or envious. Beautiful verse. It says, Gam paryatam tushta mana gata spriha. Paryatan means travel. And how he was traveling, not with a heart to hanker to find something. Tushta manaha. Completely satisfied in the heart. And gata spriya. Free from all material aspirations and desires. The life of a sincere devotee of the Lord is thus explained in a nutshell by Narad Muni by his personal example. Such a devotee, after his initiation by the Lord, or his bona fide representative, takes very seriously chanting of the glories of the Lord. This is what was the instruction Srila Prabhupada gave in the letter? But Prabhupada said that I have duly chanted on your beads. And I have initiated you as Gopal Krishna Das. And you go on chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And what were the other two instructions Srila Prabhupada gave? What were the other two instructions there in this letter that we just read? Who can chant the holy name? Why is it so difficult to chant the holy name? Prabhupada gave two instructions. I think everyone saw and read the letter. Yes, Devadatta?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Srila Prabhupada mentioned that to avoid the 10 offenses.
That is true. That was second. What was first? This is where we fail. Of course, we cannot. We fail
Follow
in-
the 4 regulative principles.
Prabhupada did not say 4 regulative principles. What did Prabhupada mention? Have to hear and read with attention. Manoram Prabhu, what did Prabhupada mention in the letter?
Follow the rules and regulations.
Try to follow the regulative principles and avoid offenses. And avoid offenses and go on chanting the holy name as you have been doing. So unless and until to the extent one is strictly following all the regulative principles and one is avoiding the offenses, it is easy. Kirtaniye sadahari. We can chant. You see, there is nothing. What Narad Muni did, you see, exactly the same instruction Srila Prabhupada is giving to Guru Maharaj. You see here, there's no change. There's no difference. The life of a sincere devotee of Lord is just explained in a nutshell by Narad Muni by his personal example. Such a devotee, after his initiation by the Lord or his bona fide representative, takes very seriously chanting of the glories of the Lord and traveling over the world so that others may also hear the glories of the Lord. Such devotees have no desire for material gain, and they are conducted by one single desire, to go back to Godhead. This awaits them in due course on quitting the material body. Because they have the highest aim of life, going back to Godhead, they are never envious of anyone. Nor are they proud of being eligible to go back to Godhead. Their only business is to chant and remember the holy name, fame, and pastimes of the Lord, and according to personal capacity to distribute the message for others' welfare without motive of material gain. Evam Krishna Mater Brahman Nasaktasya Amalatmana Kala Pradur Bhutkale Tadit Soda Maniyatha. And so, O Brahmana, Vyasadeva, in due course of time, I was fully absorbed in thinking of Krishna, and who therefore had no attachments. Being completely freed from all material taints, met with death as lightning and illumination occurs simultaneously. So this is how the journey went of Sri Narad Muni. By regularly chanting the holy name and by speaking Krishna Katha was fully absorbed in thinking of Krishna. Man mana bhava mad bhakto. And he's saying that completely, and he became free from all attachments and all material things. And he met with death as lightning and illumination occur simultaneously. To be fully absorbed in thought of Krishna means clearance of material thoughts or hankering. As a very rich man has no hankering for small petty things, so also a pure devotee of Lord Krishna who is guaranteed to pass on the kingdom of God, where life is eternal, fully cognizant and blissful, naturally has no hankering for petty material things, which are like dolls or shadows of the reality and are without permanent value. That is the sign of spiritually enriched person. And in due course of time, when a pure devotee is completely prepared, all of a sudden, the change of body occurs, which is commonly called death. And for the pure devotee, such a change takes place exactly like lightning and illumination follows simultaneously. That is to say, the devotee simultaneously quits his body, material body, and develops a spiritual body by the will of the Supreme, even before death. A pure devotee has no material affection due to his body being spiritualized, like a red hot iron in contact with fire. Prayujyamane mahitāṁ shuddham bhagavatim tanum arabdha karma nirvano nyapatat panchabhautika. Having been awarded the transcendental body, befitting an associate of the personality of Godhead, I quit the body made of 5 material elements, and thus all acquired fruitive results of work stop. Informed by personality of Godhead that he would be awarded the transcendental body befitting the Lord's association, Narad got his spiritual body as soon as he quit his material body. This transcendental body is free from material affinity and invested with 3 primary transcendental qualities, namely eternity, freedom from material modes, and freedom from reactions of fruitive activities. The material body is always afflicted with the lack of these 3 qualities. A devotee's body becomes at once surcharged with the transcendental qualities as soon as he is engaged in the devotional service of the Lord, which acts like the magnetic influence of a touchstone upon iron. So we have so many times discussed that even being in this material world, in this material mind experience. Please mute your microphone. The influence of transcendental devotional service is like that. Therefore, change of body means stopping of the actions of the 3 qualitative mode of material nature upon the pure devotee. There are many instances of this in the revealed scriptures. Dhruv Maharaj and Prahlad Maharaj and many other devotees were able to see the personality of Godhead face to face, apparently in the same body. This means that the quality of devotee's body changes from material to transcendence. That is the opinion of the authorized Goswami via the authentic scriptures. In the Brahma Samhita, it is said that beginning from the Indragop germ up to the great Indra, king of heaven, all living beings are subjected to the law of karma and are bound to suffer and enjoy the fruitive results of their own work. Only a devotee is exempt from such reaction by the causeless mercy of the Supreme Authority, the personality of Godhead. So Narad Muni continues to speak about his evolution. Kalpante idam adya Sainayambhasya udanvata Shashiyoshir anupranam Vivishayantar aham vibhu. At the end of the millennium, when the personality of Godhead, Lord Narayan, lay down within the waters of devastation, Brahma began to enter into him along with all creative elements. And I also entered through his breathing. So last life, he is giving a full recollection. So how he quit the body and he was into unmanifest stage for the duration of Brahma's night. And when Brahma began the new day, Brahma began to enter for all the creative elements. So from the transcendental body of Lord Narayan appeared again Narada. Narada is known as the son of Brahma, as Lord Krishna is known as the son of Vasudeva. The personality of Godhead and his liberated devotees like Narad appear in the material world by the same process. It is stated, it is said in the Bhagavad Gita, the birth and activities of the Lord are all transcendental. Janma karma cha me divyam. Therefore, according to authorized opinion, the birth of Narad as the son of Brahma is also transcendental pastime. His appearances and disappearance are practically on the same level as those of the Lord. The Lord and his devotees are therefore simultaneously one and different as spiritual entities. They belong to the same category of transcendence. So in this way, Narad Muni is giving the elaborations of his previous life and how from his previous life of being the son of a maid servant, he could transform to come and become the incarnation of devotional service. So the process is the same. The process which Srila Prabhupada has given us is to have little faith, associate with sadhus, and take initiation and instructions from them. Now, what is the foremost instruction? Is to attentively chant even. Follow the four regulatory principles. Hare Krishna, I'll stop here. Any questions or contributions from your side? Yes, Devidat.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. In that sequence, you said Nama, Rupa, Guna, Lila. After Dham, you said something. I could not hear.
Parikar. The Lord associates. One becomes Lord associates. He resides with the Lord in his abode. Now, how to become an associate of the Lord? First thing, one has to have Name Ruchi. If Name Ruchi is not there, nothing else will progress. Nothing else can happen. Okay?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Anyone else?
Prabhuji, in the translation of 26,
Translation of?
26,
Okay.
where Narad says, "Thus I began chanting the holy name and fame of the Lord by repeated recitation,
Yeah.
ignoring all the formalities of the material world." What
Yeah.
are these formalities?
Don't you know the formalities of the material world? We read the letter of initiation of Srila Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj.
Yes, Prabhuji.
What did Srila Prabhupada say?
Re-
If you are determined, no one can check your spiritual advancement. That means what? Any and every material relationship you do not give much importance or focus on.
Hmm.
We saw it was not easy for Maharaj. Maharaj was the only son, and his father was a very, very powerful person. He was in the rank of admiral in Navy. You just, imagine what is the position of admiral in Navy. And he was trying to reach out to Prabhupada and say that, please don't take away our joy, our son. Swamiji, don't initiate. That is what Prabhupada is writing. You try to speak to your parents and try to convince them. But then Prabhupada said that no one can check, no material relationship can check one's spiritual advancement. So what did Maharaj do? I'm asking you.
He took sannyas.
Sannyas is much later. At that time, it took,
He gave up family.
he gave up, na? He gave up all material. What is the word?
Renunciation.
Worldly?
Formalities of the material world.
He gave up all the formalities of the material world. Is it easy? How many are able to do that?
Not easy.
Most of the people get stuck in the formalities of the material world. So they do not get any spiritual empowerment or connection. But here we see Narad Muni is just a boy of 5-7 years old. And he did exactly what the Bhakti Vedantas told. Even he lost his mother. But that did not become a deterrent. The big test. So he did not went into the formalities of the material world and the relations, the formality of the relationships of this material world. Initiation means your relation with the spiritual master is the most important relationship. Everything else and anything else cannot be compared to this relationship. If one has come to this level of realization, then only he should take initiation. Otherwise, he will only commit offense against the spiritual master. Yes or no?
Yes, well, that's correct.
Initiation is not a, Prabhupada said that there are many initiates, but very few disciples. What it means to be a disciple, our Guru Maharaj demonstrated it. What it means to be a disciple, who is completely disciplined to follow what the spiritual master says. Such a disciple is Narad Muni. Now, who is initiating him? How he got initiated? What these verses are speaking? We're talking about initiation only today. See what a divine arrangement. Today is Guru Maharaj's initiation day, and we are also discussing the initiation of Narad Muni, how it is happening. When you see the process is exactly the same. No difference. But how many are able to accept, appreciate, and apply it? So many initiations happen. But out of that, the question is how many are able to accept, appreciate, and apply the principles? Narad Muni, we also see he is completely dedicated. No deviation. So he is not bothered by what others may be thinking, speaking, saying, or feeling. So he is not diverted or distracted by material formalities or worldly formalities. It is not possible. Those who are too much influenced by material relationships or by material formalities, they cannot make progress in the spiritual path. Anasaktasya vishayan yataharam upayamjita. one has to become anasakta. So this is the word which was there for Narad Muni in one of the verses. That he became completely disinterested and detached from the worldly pleasures or sense gratification. Okay?
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Any further discussion? Okay, I'll stop here. Thank you very much. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Shri Narad Dev ki jai. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Bhagavad Pad ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanand Devi Hari Hari. Hare